Hello to each of you, and welcome as you're getting ready to go on your journey and start your field education process here at Concord University in the social work program. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Sean Allen. I'm an assistant professor of social work here at Concord, and I'm also the director of field education. You're getting an email from Vanessa today, or you may be seeing this as an announcement in one of your classes, giving you some information about the field process and what it's like. I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you all just a little bit about that as well, as some of you may prefer having a video to kind of explain things to you as well. So that's what this is, just to supplement the written material that you've received. If you are planning to start 551A or 653A this summer, whether that be summer 1 or summer 2, your field application will be due on March 1st. Okay, so those applications for either summer term are due March 1st. If you plan to start field either section, whatever the case is, in the fall, your field application will be due on April 1st. Those dates are very, very important, you all. Make sure you get those field applications in on time. And the link to the field application is in the written material that you've received. Now, when I say that field applications are due, that does not mean that your placement is finalized, on March 1st or April 1st. What the field application is simply a form that you're filling out and letting me know exactly what it is you're wanting to do for field placement. He will ask you some questions concerning what area geographically that you're going to be in when you're planning to do field, and he'll ask you for specific agencies that you're interested in completing your placement with. Now, if you don't list any agencies, the very first thing I'm going to do is contact you and say, what agencies do you have in mind? Now, you may be someone who's new to social work and don't know a lot of the agencies. You at least have to give me an idea of what population you would like to work with, meaning are you wanting to work with children and families? Are you wanting to work with seniors and gerontology? Are you wanting to work with individuals with disabilities? Are you wanting to work in the prison system, in criminal justice? I mean, I have to at least have something to go off of. So if you're absolutely blank on agencies, at least give me an idea of what populations you want to work with, and then I'll reach out to you and we'll work together on that. So you've submitted your field application and basically it's like, now what? Well, what will happen is you'll actually get an email from me on your Concord email addresses. Be sure that you're checking your Concord email. Pretty much all the information you get from me concerning field placement will come to that Concord email address. So be sure that you're checking that. Now, you'll get an email from me, and I'll basically say to you something to the effect of, have you contacted this agency already? I'll be making contact with them for the first time. If you don't have agencies listed, we'll talk about that and figure out what we need to do. If we need to, we can always schedule a phone conference and talk that way, or if you're in the local area, you're always welcome to come by here and we can set up a time to talk here as well if we need to. But I will be reaching out to you and talking to you about what you have put on those field applications. Now, many times students will say, well, do I need to contact the agencies? Well, truthfully, it depends. Lots of times we have agencies in our local area that we use a lot, and I try to at least know who you're contacting before you do, so we're not overwhelming folks. But now, those of you who are far away outside of Mercer County, West Virginia, feel free to contact any agencies you want to, because I need to know. I need help in knowing what agencies are there and where you're wanting to do placement. But I will do all I can to help you. But remember, even though, yes, I am the field director, and it's my job to help you coordinate your placements, it's still your education and it's your field placement. So it's up to you, to do your part and make sure that, and you sort of drive the cart here, making sure that you secure a field placement. When looking for a field placement, some things to know is you need to be looking at social service agencies, agencies where the primary role is they're performing some sort of social work services. You also have to have a field instructor, and that field instructor has to have an MSW with 2 years postgraduate experience. Now, let's say you are looking at an agency who doesn't have someone who meets that MSW requirement, and we have a lot of those in our areas, unfortunately. Well, what happens is, if this is a good agency and it's somewhere that I feel you're still going to have a good field placement experience, then we we will need to locate someone from outside the agency to serve in that field instructor role, meaning that you would have a task supervisor on site and that you would still need a field instructor to fill that social work component. That is a requirement of the Council on Social Work Education, or CSWE, who accredits all social work programs in North America. And, you know, we have to have that person with the MSW and 2 years postgraduate experience involved. Now, some of you may be working for agencies where you're wanting to do field placement at the same place you work. That is definitely possible. We call those employer-based placements. Now, for an employer-based placement to work, what you actually has to happen is you still do your job, but the hours that you spend doing field placement have to be doing something completely different, and something that's new to you and not a job you've done before, or is not your current job. Okay, I'll give you an example. Lots of times people who work for DHHR do employer-based placements. So maybe they work in youth services. Well, that person may end up doing placement in CPS, or they may end up doing placement with adult protective services. So you do it with something completely different. How you get those approved is there is an employer-based placement application. In the regular field application, it will ask you if you're planning to do an employer-based placement. If you are, you click yes, and you fill out the application that it gives you that way, and you also finish the regular field application. If you somehow miss that and but you're planning to do an employer-based placement, I've also provided the link in the written materials for you as well to just the employer-based placement application. So be sure that you do those. When I get those, I review them to ensure that you know, I can understand what your job is, and I can understand how what you're doing for field is different. You also have to have a letter from your supervisor or director of the program, or whoever's in charge, that explains that they are allowing you to do an employer-based placement with the agency. Now, the one thing that you need to keep in mind also is, again, the field instructor component is very important with those as well. So you still have to have someone who has an MSW with 2 years of postgraduate experience to be your field instructor, and that should not be your regular job supervisor. It's set up that way to avoid dual relationships and those sorts of things. So in a nutshell, that's a little overview of just how that process works. Now, something else that you would want to keep in mind is you may want to consider doing getting malpractice insurance for your field placement. This is something that a lot of agencies require, and it's something that you really want to keep in mind, and it's pretty nominal to do so. If you're interested in getting malpractice insurance, you need to, I would recommend getting on the NASW website. I actually provide a link to this also in the written material that has the NASW assurances, is what it's called. You join the NASW at the student rate, and you then purchase the malpractice insurance through them, and it's really not very expensive at all. I recommend you go to that website and check out that information, and I think it will be a help to you. Another thing that students ask a lot of the time are about hours. Okay, so all generalist field placements, that's Social Work 551 A and B, all of those placements are 20 hours per week. The way we have our program set up, you do one full, you either fall or spring term, and you do one summer term, and you do that's based that when you do the math on that, it comes out to be you have to have 20 hours a week to meet the hours. Now, advanced field placements, the 653, is a bit more complicated. If you are starting advanced field in summer 1, that means you'll be in advanced field summer 1, summer 2, and fall. You will do 21 hours a week field time to meet the required hours. If you are starting advanced field in summer 2, that means you'll be in 653 in summer 2, fall, and next spring. You do 16 hours per week. The reason that it's different is the time frames are different. When you have 2 summer terms and 1 full term, you have less weeks than you do with 1 summer term and 2 full terms. So that's why the hours are different. Okay, y'all. So that's just kind of, I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit and explain some of the things that you're reading. I'm always available to answer questions. Feel free to contact me at the best way is through email. That's rallen@concord.edu. I'm available to answer questions at any time you have them. The main thing is don't forget those deadlines. All summer placements are, the applications have to be submitted by March 1st. All fall placements, the applications have to be submitted by April 1st. One more thing I want to mention on that is that if you take a look at the field manual, which a link is provided for you as well, you will notice that the deadline for all placements to be finalized is the last day of the semester before. Okay, so all summer placements, both summer 1 and summer 2, have to be finalized by the end of this semester. So that means all summer placements we have to have agreements in place, everything set up and ready to go by May the 3rd. Okay, keep that in mind. That's the magic date. We have to have everything ready to go by May the 3rd. For all fall placements, we need to have those ready by the end of the second summer term. And I think that date is July 26th. Okay, so all fall field placements have to be set up, everything finalized by July 26th. Okay? All right, guys, I look forward to working with all of you throughout this process. Feel free to contact me anytime with any questions, and I hope all of you, this semester is starting great for you, and I hope you all have a great semester overall.